Hello everybody, welcome to It Was Tuesday, except that it's a Thursday. Yeah, I wasn't able to do the Tuesday show this past week, this past Tuesday. I had 1 hour of sleep, I was exhausted, I got stuck at the pharmacy waiting for some medication, literally fell asleep at the pharmacy. And they said it would take 15 minutes for me to get my meds. It took an hour and 15 minutes. So I didn't even get home until well after when the Tuesday show was going to start anyway. So I'm making up for it here on this Thursday. And so we are going to talk about all the crazy things that happened this past weekend, as well as later on talking a little bit about KOF 15, because this has been coming up a lot on social media recently. Obviously, I follow a lot of KOF fans too, so I was actually just talking with them a lot about it. John the Automaton says, first time watching live, thank you for the First Attack series. It is helping me a lot. For everybody here watching, I will be continuing that very, very shortly. So First Attack is going to continue. So be prepared for that. But let's talk about all these topics over here. First of all, being CPT Online East. Dude, CPT Online East, I mean, look, obviously Japan is the strongest region for Street Fighter in the world, right? So 900, well, I mean, I wouldn't say they're the best, but they certainly have the largest number of high quality players. 925 entrants for CPT Japan, but to be frank, US East wasn't that far behind because they had 642 entrants. They had 642 entrants for US East. And remember, although Mena RD has already qualified, so he didn't play in this, dude, the quality of players here is kind of insane, right? I mean, obviously, Punk, NuckleDu, iDom all play in this region, and that's who everybody was saying, like, oh my gosh, which one of those guys is actually going to qualify? Which one of them are going to make it out? But remember, this is US and Canada as well, so we also had crazy players like Flux Waves from Canada, but, Samij, a top, NRS player was in this tournament, Diaphone was in this tournament, Arturo Sanchez was in the tournament, Chirithi, old school player, was in this. OG Yan was in this tournament. I'm just going through the list of players just to let you know the kind of Zaffarino was in this tournament over here. Let's see, Kami was in this tournament. So again, like, there's just so many. If I went through this, it would take forever basically to name all of the strong players that were playing in this bracket over here. And so a lot of people, were again expecting NuckleDu, Punk, or iDom to make it out of there. But dude, it almost felt like none of them were going to make it. And that's how it works, right? I mean, when you have a bracket like this, it is terrifying. And I really hope you guys have been watching Street Fighter League, because one BananaKen, who was on Team Red Rooster from Puerto Rico, he came in here with his JP and he was dominating in SFL as well. And then he came here and started beating up everybody in this tournament. And if you actually look at this bracket here, we'll just start at the top 16 over here. BananaKen managed to defeat Spaceboy, and where's iDom and Punk? Oh, look at this. Punk is down here, and so is iDom. iDom lost, I think he lost. Yeah, he lost the Paladin. By the way, Paladin is ridiculous. 16-year-old Ryu player. What is with these young kid Ryu players coming in? First we had Ending Walker, and now Paladin coming over here and destroying everybody. Psycho ended up defeating Punk. Psycho, who was like on the first season of SFL a long time ago, 2-0ing Punk. all before top 16. And so Punk and iDom weren't even on the winner side for top 16. They were already on the loser side. And so as you can see over here, they had to battle their way through. And sure enough, even iDom didn't even make it into the top 8. He ended up losing to Ramos, who was a modern Chun-Li player, who ended up beating iDom on the loser side before top 8. So iDom finished in 9th place. After Punk lost in the tournament, he did not tweet right away. He tweeted much, much later, but not really directly about the tournament. But a lot of people treated it that way, very unfairly. To Punk, by the way, I might add. And again, I know I stick up for Punk all the time. I defend Punk all the time. But this time really was unfair because people have said, even on his stream, if you actually go into the top 8 part of the bracket over here, Punk did beat Ramos, but then he fought Paladin, the 16-year-old Ryu. And the 16-year-old Ryu 3-0'd Punk in a very dominating match. And most people said on Punk's stream that Punk spent most of the time saying like, yo, he played really good. Like, oh, he did a really good job. Oh, you know, he beat me, you know, like he wasn't very salty about it. He just made a comment about Tekken later on. So, blaming lag with his match with Psycho. Well, yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me that it's going to happen. So, I mean, he was doing trash talking during the match as well. And again, that's the nature of Punk. That's just how he is, unfortunately. But, you know, apparently after he lost to Paladin, he was giving Paladin a lot of credit. Even Paladin said so himself. He was like, Punk was actually really kind and complimentary to me about how I played. But yeah, the very first thing that happened on the winner's side was that BananaKen sent NuckleDu to losers. Now, obviously, the JP versus Guile, but NuckleDu has been doing really, really, really well against JPs with his Guile. But in this particular situation, it did not work out at all. And BananaKen actually took out NuckleDu's Guile 3-1. And so then BananaKen took out Naji, and it really set up BananaKen in this position to win US East. So could you imagine having no Punk, iDom, or NuckleDu qualified? But the crazy part about it was that NuckleDu remained steadfast, ended up beating Paladin, ended up beating Naji. I mean, look at what he did after losing to BananaKen. 3-0 Flux Waves. This was a different JP, and he switched to Cammy. He beat Paladin with his Guile. He beat Naji with Guile, and he came back, and he beat BananaKen. Final game, final round, by the way, in the first set. And NuckleDu managed to reset it, and then managed to beat BananaKen 3-0 afterwards with the Cammy this time. So with his Cammy, he was able to defeat BananaKen. And sure enough, NuckleDu is the one that qualified for USE. So good job to NuckleDu. I mean, again, super, super brutal match. And one of the things I do want to highlight here, honestly, is that I really, really liked the interview that NuckleDu gave towards the end. Just some of the things that, you know, he was talking about, a lot of things that he was saying about, you know, what you should do with the money and, and all this other stuff. And, he's talking about his family support. I kind of want just to play this on the stream so you guys can hear this interview in case you didn't get a chance to see it. It's just, for me, again, I've been watching NuckleDu play for so long, since Street Fighter 4 when he was like 15 years old. And, I was always like super rooting for him. I was always happy to see how well he did. So there is a lot of like weird, proud parental feeling that I have seeing NuckleDu succeed like this. And so seeing this and seeing how he talked about his family and everything and having a support group, in the interview really spoke to me and just really touched my heart. So I just wanted to have the chance for you guys to actually listen to this interview here.
Again, look at this. So congratulations to Du. We're going to bring him on for an interview and chat with him about it.
Troubleshooting. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We got him. NuckleDu Dang. What's good, young fella? Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Hope you guys enjoy the second to hardest region in the world. Very stressful.
I don't know, man. That made it look like it was the hardest.
That was
actually
super tough.
that difficult. You had us all sweating, to be fair. But I do kind of want to like get right into the nitty gritty. Brother, when did it come to mind to just throw the heck out of BananaKen? When did that strategy just come out like, you know what, I'm going to force him to guess?
Mena RD. I had a phone call with him right before top 8.
Look at these teamwork,
And like,
man.
well, I quickly learned when we represented America in Japan, and like I was just talking to him, I was like, wow, I had such imposter syndrome because like he was, like his reads were crazy, his work ethic is unmatched. I used to think Japan, well, as a whole, their work ethic's probably the best, but Mena, like no one trumps his work ethic. Like, it's insane. So I trusted him right before top 8, and I spoke with him, and his reads were just perfect, and yeah, I just followed it to the team.
That's crazy.
Well, Men RD may have given you the idea, but what is it that you do? How is it that you go about making those specific reads for grab or not? By going for grab.
So I do want to, before we continue on here, because after this happened, David then sent out an analytic tweet over here. Let me see if I can get him over here. Whoops, not Ultra David. Status here. Let's see here. He actually had an analysis tweet that he put out immediately afterwards. Let me see here. So NuckleDu Cammy had an incredible run of correct strike throw mix-ups versus BananaKen's JP in grand finals of last night's CPT US Canada East. Throws landed 28. Amnesia's baited 8. Throw attempts punished by Amnesia 0. 0. That is insane. That is absolutely insane stat. Like, how do you have it be absolutely perfect? You landed 28 throws, baited 8 amnesias, and had no amnesias actually succeed. That is insane. That is insane.
When he's in the corner and he has the X meter, you are risking like 1/3 to half life depending on his resources every time. And you did it like 20 times. And he never did
right
EX
majority
amnesia
of the
versus your
time.
grab. How do you go about making those correct decisions? What's your sort of thought process?
I mean, you have to, this game, like, you can't be scared. You have to run your plays. Like, otherwise, because the thing about, so if you remember Kami versus Fluctuate, Kami was scared to throw him for the final sequence. Then Fluctuate woke up, crouch jab, OD command throw. So, like, you have to make the plays. And as scary as it is, BananaKen is just as scary because if he wins amnesia, then he loses a lot too. But that move is really BS. Capcom, please nerf that move. Like, that move is just insane. Like, but yeah, shout out to RD for the call out. But
NuckleDu
yeah,
almost downplaying amnesia, and he was like, "Wait, what am I doing?"
And Punk too. I called, like, right after I beat Najee, I called Punk. Like, he was the one that told me to try Cammy first. So I did, and yeah, it worked out. So shout out to Punk and Mena, Safarino, like, those three helped me a lot.
It's crazy having the
Dominicans
support
had
group.
Mena on the hotline, also rivals with Punk and best friends, being able to get that help. That's actually kind of ridiculous, being able to like have so many different perspectives as well. But also, it's one thing to receive the information, but it's another to execute it. Now, I feel like you've been a man who's had like nerves of steel since I met you. Like, what is the mentality going into like in this certain position? Like, you're starting things off in the winner side of top 8, then you fall short. It's like, man, like what is going on through your mind in that exact moment? It's like, dude, I could fall short just like Punk. I could fall short just like iDom did. What do I need to do now? Like, what's your mentality, and how do you keep it so sturdy the entire time?
I was very confident I was going to beat BananaKen in winners. So when he beat me, he played really well. and I just could not adapt. And when I lost, I was really distraught. So I went to my living room to lay on the floor, and my youngest daughter, Michaela, was rolling all over me. And Cleo, my oldest daughter, was rolling all over me, and my wife laid on the floor with me. So it was a nice little reset because if I just sat in my chair and just like.
All right, I can't find Zaffarino. Sorry, I can't find him, and I don't want a distraction from this part of the interview because I feel like this is such an important part of this interview.
Starting
So
things off on the winner side of top 8, then you fall short. It's like, man, like what is going on through your mind at that exact moment? It's like, dude, I could fall short just like Punk. I could fall short just like iDom did. What do I need to do now? Like, what's your mentality, and how do you keep it so sturdy the entire time?
I was very confident I was going to beat BananaKen in winners. So when he beat me, he played really well, and I just could not adapt. And when I lost, I was really distraught. So I went to my living room to lay on the floor, and my youngest daughter, Michaela, was rolling all over me. And Cleo, my oldest daughter, was rolling all over me, and my wife laid on the floor with me. So it was a nice little reset because if I just sat in my chair and just like, be depressed all day, it's not going to do me any good. So it was nice to reset. It was really good to reset. And yeah, that helped me a lot. Another thing, Punk lost to Paladin, and he was going to be the hardest opponent for me. He has a winning record over me, so when he lost, it sucks that my friend lost, but that is also a blessing in disguise, and I couldn't just let that go to waste, So I had to just, I had to take advantage of everything.
Yeah, and Punk could have easily just.
I mean, just talking about that story where after he lost to BananaKen, laying down on the floor and having his daughter come and try to cheer him up, and his wife laying down next to him just to give him support and stuff like that. I mean, again, like, that just absolutely just, I mean, the tugs on the heartstrings, man. Like, I am just, ooh, I'm going to cry from that because it's such a wonderful story and just such a wonderful thing to hear about. Again, how cool is it that, to see NuckleDu in this position and to have that kind of support, and it's so important. It really is to have to be able to maintain fighting games like that, man. This is not an easy hobby. This is a stressful hobby, and having that kind of a support is really important, honestly.
Just gone off the mat for the rest of the day. He could have clocked out and just been like, you know what, I'm chilling. I don't have to worry about it. But him still giving you the advice, man. Big respect to Punk the God for doing that as well, for giving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if you could talk about the importance of sort of the network, the people around you in this and just in life in general, because you have talked already about your friends, players, your family. What does it mean to have that kind of support, and how does that help you?
Well, when I first won the first Capcom Cup, I was solo. Like, I didn't really make friends. I didn't have friends. Because I just felt like in this, you don't need friends. But it's also really hard to do this alone. So although Meta and Punk are my rivals in this region, we're still friends outside of the game. And I think that's really important. For example, the World Warrior number 4, Punk beat me 6-0. And then immediately drove to Tampa the same night, and we went to a raid together. You know what I mean? Like, he destroyed me. But we still are able to separate professional gaming and having a good time with each other because, I feel like we have similar paths in terms of how esports, the highs and lows go. So, if anything, like, we relate to each other more than people think. Yeah. So it's really important to have such amazing talent that are willing to help and vice versa.
Yeah, truly. I'm going to keep it a little bit lighthearted now. We've had some really hard-hitting questions, but one thing I do want to ask you, you talked about in an interview with Rob TV, the dad math behind managing your family life, your professional life, your personal life, etc. With $1 million, I was going to ask you, how many diapers does that get? But what I really want to ask you, with $1 million, what are you doing first?
Shout-outs to NuckleDu for this answer, by the way.
I want to take this opportunity to bring this up. So when I won the first Capcom Cup, it's really personal. I'm a little embarrassed. But when I won the first Capcom Cup, I didn't know much about taxes. So I never paid my taxes. So now I owe the IRS $140,000.
Good God.
Every month is $900 interest every single month.
Jesus
So
Christ.
it's like chucking a bucket of water at a wildfire. So for the young people in esports in general, do not be like me. Don't, like money isn't infinite. There's highs and lows. Pay your damn taxes because I'm paying a huge price for it. So yeah, the $1 million will help. It'll help pay off that $140,000 debt that I'm in. Like I said, it's not my proudest moment, but if it's gonna help the younger people who were in my situation, then I'm glad to share that. But yeah, that's really personal. I'm not gonna lie.
Continues to speak to the importance of having the network around you, right? Like that's you being able to tell other people that is important for other people to know. You've gone through that now. Having that, if you had that in the first place, right, maybe a different story. So for both video games and for general life, obviously, it's very important to have that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that you're in that position now. Before we let you go, I am just very curious how your hands and heart felt at the end of that incredible scramble.
Yes, please.
I can't let you go without asking about this.
We were speechless about that. We can't even imagine
here,
what you felt like.
I was just like, I'm just glad that I made it. Like when I finally secured the dub, because like it's really hard. It's really easy to like when you're about to win, that your heart rate rises and you make really rash decisions. And I'm not glad I was in that mode, but it just worked out. My heart was jumping. I immediately left and hugged my wife because she's my biggest support. And yeah, I'm and like I can share this, but when I won Capcom Cup, I didn't cry. On camera, I was like, oh shit. Oh, excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Like I kind of knew I was gonna win. Like I'm not trying to like boast or anything. So when I won, I was like, oh crap, I don't want to seem like a robot, so I just pretended to cry. But when I sat down and after I won, like some tears came out because this was so hard. Like it was so hard. Men randomly decided to live in America, East Coast specifically. So like Punk, one of the greatest Street Fighter players of all time, iDom, Capcom Cup champ. There's a lot of things, but BananaKen's amazing too. Like the downplaying on BananaKen is crazy because he left Street Fighter to become the best Persona player. He came back and now he's doing amazing things in Street Fighter. So people who are downplaying him, it's just crazy because we all work really hard. So shout out to BananaKen as well.
Speaking of shout outs, I do, as always with those that have been inducted into Capcom Cup this year, do want to give you the time to shout yourself out anywhere that people can find you. This is your moment. This is your time to shine. NuckleDu, hit him with all your socials and everywhere that you may not be streaming, but throwing out videos as well. NuckleDu, this is your time to shine, man. Let the people know where you're at.
NuckleDu Dang on Twitter.
Well, first off, shout out to Shopify Rebellion for believing in me. They're an amazing group. I didn't even plan on being sponsored. But they seem like a good group of people, and I trust my gut. Shout out to my wife, my 2 kids, and shout out to my stream too. Like the people, they're heavily invested just with me, and I really appreciate them being here. Not just because it's helping my livelihood, but like when it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like overthinking, I have people in my stream chat I'm able to talk with.
The chair.
The open lobby, we always do that.
Such a stand-up guy, Peter 0611, but he's always sitting in that chair.
On Twitch.tv/NuckleDu. I have a YouTube channel as well, NuckleDu Dang. And shout out to you guys, Ultra Dave and Jeremy, for I'm sure the comms was really good. Well, not the comms, but the commentary, I'm sure it was really good as always. So shout out to you guys as well. Yeah.
Thanks,
Much
bud.
love, man. Hey, personal shout out to the chair. This guy's been throwing in
Where's the
a
chair?
lot of work.
Is the chair there?
I love that
Is the
guy.
chair in the room?
There he is.
Hey!
All jokes aside, man, it's so entertaining to watch you like really pick apart things of the game in a very professional nature, and also just throwing it down for the community as you do. We wish you the best in the world. We really do, because you're such an amazing person in and outside of the game, and we are truly blessed to even have you. So thank you again for a phenomenal performance, dude.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Good luck at Capcom Cup. See you next month.
Thank you.
Bye, bud.
Can you believe that? See you next month We're at Capcom Cup next month. That is absolutely insane. But, you know, I hope you guys don't mind that I took the time to play this interview for you guys, just because the interview really meant a lot to me. You know, just hearing him talk about the support system and talking about, you know, just how much, you know, his family and his friends and everybody. And, you know, just the fact that he even, you know, decided to try to give advice to everybody if they win the $1 million and such. It was just, it's a really good interview. And, you know, that support system is so important because I've always talked about this. I really do think fighting games are a social hobby. You know, it's designed to be a solo, you know, hermetic, like very isolated experience. But honestly, it's the social aspect of fighting games that really truly helps you grow in fighting games. And that's actually, you know, that'll come up later on when we talk about the KOF 15 situation. But yeah, it's really good to hear. And again, of course, for me, you know, I always get emotional when I think about NuckleDu, you know, think about what he's been through and thinking about, you know, what almost happened. And now he is in this position where he has such wonderful support and so much loving families and friends and stuff like that. And again, for me, you know, kind of piggybacking off of the Tuesday show from a couple of weeks ago about, you know, is the FGC too toxic? You know, and a lot of people mention guys like Punk as being one of the people who's too toxic, right? Like, he's very toxic. But in fact, we were even talking about it a little bit on stream. Like, did he tweet after he lost and stuff? But you see how NuckleDu talks about him and how much respect and how much, you know, Punk has actually helped NuckleDu and such. Again, you know, there's that outside personality that you see on Twitter and everything. Twitter is the worst. It brings out the worst in everybody. And then streaming, you know, also, you know, you have this ability to just be a little bit of kind of like a punk, basically. But, you know, he is a good friend to NuckleDu. And like I said, you know, he cares about fighting games a lot. So for me, I'm always happy, you know, to see someone like Punk and NuckleDu and ManaRD all being such close friends and helping each other out. So yeah, but NuckleDu is in Capcom Cup. But the real question is now, I have heard that iDom and Punk have said before this event that if they did not qualify, that they might not go out to try to qualify at the LCQ. I don't know if people who have watched Punk stream, if Punk has said any different. I don't know if iDom has said any different, but I think the chances of iDom showing up are going to be very small. I know iDom hates traveling. He hates airplanes and stuff. So I really think that the chances of us seeing an iDom at the last chance qualifier is not high. Punk, I would love to see him come out. I think he still has a very, very good chance of qualifying, despite the fact that there are so many strong players. I do think Punk is one of the best still at the game. Love to see him go out and try to qualify, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to, you know, again, does he want to go out there and do that? Or does he want to stay home and restream the LCQ? Because he could probably get a lot of views and make a lot of Twitch money by restreaming the LCQ, honestly. So it's hard to blame him if he doesn't show up. So that's one thing to keep in mind here. It is a very high possibility that we might not see some of our favorites at the last chance qualifiers. But again, Capcom Cup will be coming up very soon. And NuckleDu is one of the contestants now. We've got one more Midwest coming up this weekend. But we also have, you know, the big Street Fighter League stuff going on. And as you can actually see over here, if I can get to this here, Team Bandits won Street Fighter League US. So if you remember, Team Bandits was ManaRD, Kaba, Christatarian and Xiao Hai. And they went up against Team NASR in grand finals, which is BigBird, Angrybird, Punk, and Nephew. And Bandits managed to take that one really off of the backs of Punk, because the 20-point matches were Punk and Angrybird. And I think they played 3 times. And if I'm not mistaken, Punk won 2-1 against Angrybird. And so, yeah, who did I say? Punk, yeah, Mena RD. It came down to Mena RD and Angrybird all the time, back and forth against each other. And Mena RD won twice versus Angrybird. Sorry about that. But it was a great match. It came down to that final match. It was first to 70 points. They both were at 50 points, and it was time to actually get that. And it was really funny too, because there was that drama in that one episode where Punk was talking mad smack to Xiao Hai, and then in the team battle, Xiao Hai actually beat Punk. And after he beat him, like, Xiao Hai like started popping off, but then it almost seemed like Xiao Hai was popping off because he felt like he had to. Because as soon as he popped off, right immediately afterwards, it looked like he was apologizing to Punk. Like, he was like, no, nothing personal. Like, he looked really like, it was, it's all cool. I hope you're not mad or whatever. Like, Xiao Hai actually looked like very concerned. And to Punk's credit, I mean, he smiled and, he shook his hand and everything like that. So, you're talking about the Berkeley fighting game thing. I don't know. I don't know who's teaching it, so I don't know the quality of the class, to be honest with you. If they want to invite me as a guest professor, I can definitely help. So, yeah, Punk probably kind of knew he deserved that. Yeah, for sure. But that match was insane. And, man, like, Mena RD, I mean, you can't be mad about that. And obviously, Christatarian and Xiao Hai really stepped up in that tournament as well. So I'm really excited to see how Mena, Kaba, Chris, and Xiao Hai are going to do. EU has not concluded yet, so we do not know the team, but the Japanese team, they just won the grand finals, and this team looks absolutely insane. Where is it? Where's the team here? Which one is it here? It's not this team. Oh yeah, Chris T is ridiculous, dude. Chris T is really strong. I'm really happy for him. This is the one. It's Team FAV Gaming. So FAV Gaming won this one, and their team is Sako, Ryusei, Tokido, and Bonchan. Sako, Ryusei, Tokido, and Bonchan. That is a ridiculous Japanese team over here. That is going to be a good time, man. So those 4 are going to be going up against Mena RD, Kaba. And remember, Mena RD, Kaba, and NuckleDu won FAV Cup in Japan just recently. And so 2 of them are on this team, and they're going to be flanked by Chris T and Xiao Hai. And like I said, we don't know what the EU results are yet, because they just completed week 9. So we're not exactly sure who is going to make it right now. But if I'm not mistaken, right now, the BMS team is in first place, and Mouse is in second place. Team BMS is Killsu, Mr. Crimson, Akainu, and Valmaster. That's so crazy. Oh, wait. Ultra David took the fighting game class at UC Berkeley in 2003 or 4. We had readings from Domination 101 and the Art of War, discussions of strategy, and lab, aka an hour in the campus arcade. The one I took didn't even have JP culture. It was just video games. I got full credit, baby. Interesting. I wonder if it's the same. I'm sure it's changed a lot. Honestly, I'm sure it's changed a lot. But again, yeah, it kills you, Mr. Crimson, Akainu, and Valmaster. That is a really strong team. Team Mouse is Ending Walker, Mystic Smash, Problem X, and Broski. And when they recorded this, Broski was still a JP user, but now he's a bona fide Aki player. And I really think his Aki might be stronger than his JP was, honestly. But that's a crazy team. And then Team 00 Nation is Phenom, Veggie, Lord Venom, and Recommends Barnett. So again, the top 3 teams right now, and if I'm not mistaken, BK Rog is still in the running over here, and that's Luffy, Kane, Nassim Claw, and Kusanagi. Not the Kusanagi from Mexico. This is a new, younger Kusanagi from the EU, basically. But these are all very, very strong teams, and Street Fighter League Finals is actually going to be really, really crazy, honestly. So it's going to be good times. It's going to be good times. Again, don't forget the Capcom Cup week is literally going to be LCQ, Street Fighter League stuff, and then Capcom Cup 10. And yeah, it's going to be wild, dude. Oh my God, it's going to be crazy. Recommends Barnett. Recommends Barnett. Barnett. Recommends Barnett. Is that better, JNV? But yeah, it's going to be quite a brutal week. It should be fun, though. Should be a good time. Last year, Capcom Cup was a blast. I had a really, really great time there working the event. Hopefully, I'll be able to work it as well again this year. So if that's the case, yeah, like I said, I'm stoked. I can't wait for Capcom Cup. It's going to be a blast, honestly. It's going to be so much fun. Recommends Barnett. Okay, only roll the first R, not the second. Recommends Barnett. All right, so outside of that, however, it was also the Tekken World Tour finals this past weekend. So the Tekken World Tour was decided. And again, keep in mind, this is the final Tekken World Tour for Tekken 7. This is the final Tekken World Tour for Tekken 7. And so this game we've been playing this game for like 10 years or something. And yeah, I remember last week when I did when I actually did the, what do you call it? The Player of the Year for the Ultra Chen TV Awards, I had ARSLAN Ash at number 2. There was somebody who was like, "You're crazy. ARSLAN Ash should be number 1." And I'm like, I'm not sure about that because, to be honest with you, Mana RD, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But man, now, I think ARSLAN Ash is in front running for basically Player of the Year for the next for 2024 already. I really feel that way because, dude, keep in mind now that this guy has now won 2 Evos, 2 Evo Japans, and finally got his hands on a Tekken World Tour finals. I don't think that there is any question right now that ARSLAN Ash is the greatest Tekken 7 player on the planet of all time. That guy is ridiculous at this game. And he got first place. First time, I mean, in all the other ones, he's always had rough groups. Like like me and ARSLAN Ash would end up in the same group because of the way the round robin works. You actually just pick which group you go into. Oh, so like me and ARSLAN Ash would just like jump at each other in the round robin phase and such. But ARSLAN Ash finally, for the first time, made it into the top part of the bracket on the winner side. So on top 8, he was on winner side. And one of the really, really cool stats that somebody pointed out was that ARSLAN Ash is first. Second place is CBM, Cherry Berry Mango. And then third place is Ulsan. And in the Tekken World Tour standings, ARSLAN Ash, Cherry Berry Mango, and Ulsan were the top 3 point getters. So Tekken was really, really consistent with the points. And so Street Fighter Evo and Capcom Cup in the same year, the closest was Momochi, who won Capcom Cup and then Evo. So it was Capcom Cup at the end of one year and then Evo at the middle of the next year. He didn't win them in the same year, but he won them calendar. But that was back in Street Fighter 4. Since then, nobody else has done it. I think it's happened for some Dragon Ball Fighters players. But in terms of Street Fighter, Momochi is the closest that we had. Then followed by Tokido, who like won Evo and then was like second place at Capcom Cup, if I'm not mistaken, because I think that was the year that Mena RD won. Mena RD won the first time. But yeah, ARSLAN Ash, Cherry Berry Mango, and Ulsan, the top 3 point getters, and they ended up 1, 2, and 3 in the Tekken World Tour. Of course, rounding out the top 8 is Low-High. And then tied for 5th was Rangchu, former Tekken World Tour winner, and AO. And then in 7th place was John Ding and Ni. So Ni ended up finishing 7th. But again, at this point in time, I don't think there's any question that ARSLAN Ash is the best Tekken 7 player. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to transfer over to Tekken 8 because, you know, ARSLAN obviously very, very strong player. But, you know, from I know when he played the betas and stuff, he all of his change suggestions sounded like he just wanted to make it Tekken 7. He was just like, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Just sounded like he was going to make it Tekken 7. Oh, man. But they did reveal a new character, the first DLC character for Tekken 8, and that is, of course, Eddy Gordo, the terror who murders everybody. If you don't know how to fight him, he just basically destroys you. But he's going to be the first DLC character. I'm going to say it. I'm really, really sad about the haircut. I didn't like it on DJ Costume 3 either, to be fair. But I'm really, really sad that he has current, today, modern, this is what everybody think black people's hair look like because of Killmonger. Dude, everybody has this hair now, and it's like, it's so sad. And so, like, the last 2 characters they revealed were Eddy Gordo and Reina. And Reina, you already know I was really upset about her generic hair. And so now I'm just like, come on, guys. I mean, to be fair, Jury kind of has generic Asian hair because she's also got the pink streak in her hair. But at least she still has the crazy Jury hair. But man, you know, the Asian with the independent Asian with the purple, pink, blue streak in their hair is like, come on, all right. And now, I mean, dude, Miles Morales in the latest Spider-Man game and like the new Prince of Persia game, DJ Costume 3, Eddy Gordo. I mean, someone actually put together a giant like collage of like every video game character that has been used with that hairstyle. And yes, to be fair, it is a step up from let's give them an afro instead. It is definitely a step up from that. But, oh, man. I mean, again, I think that's why everybody loved Kimberly so much, too, because that's the thing, right? It's like, you know, a lot of times, you know, especially from games made by Japan and such, black women tend to not have afros, right? They always try to give them a different kind of hairstyle and stuff. And, you know, the fact that they gave Kimberly, you know, just very natural black hair was such a big deal. So, again, really happy to see them do that. So, but yeah, Eddy, I mean, again, happy for Eddy Gordo fans, but I'm not looking forward to fighting him at all. Ever. Yeah, I mean, that's just the crazy thing. I mean, they've said, in one of my other streams, someone found the interview where where Capcom actually went and like consulted like all the black people at their company and like talked to them all about Kimberly, and we're like, are we doing anything offensive? Are we accidentally making bad stereotypes? And they took advice, and Kimberly has been a really well-received character in the black community as far as I can tell. And I mean, I just think that's so important. I just think that there's so many ways to just, like Caramel Jenkins says in the chat, there are a lot of options they could have gone with. Yes, the Ed trailer also dropped today. I'll save that for next week and go through the Ed trailer because I want to see if we get more information on Ed, because honestly, it's just the World Tour intro video. And so I don't have enough to go off of. I really, really, really want to know more about Ed. All I'll say is Ed is not my favorite character. I have never cared about Ed, and I've never understood his character design. He has no appeal to me whatsoever. I think he's kind of bland and boring. And I've said, if Street Fighter 6 can actually make me interested in Ed, they are the GOATs, right? The trailer came. He's animated well. I don't know enough. I need to see how his gameplay works, and I need to see all the little touches that they put into his animations while he's fighting. But, in the trailer video, in the World Tour video, like, his boxing animations look amazing. If they actually give him, like, really, really good looking boxing animations, kind of like, what Street Fighter 3 did for Dudley. Like, Dudley, is probably one of the best boxing fighting game characters ever. Just because of all the, 1, 2, 3, all the back and forth punches and stuff like that. Like, all of his target combos almost always switched hands. And, he just looks so cool. If they can make Ed have that and give him some really interesting mechanics, yeah, I'll be down with it. But like I said, if they can actually make me interested in Ed in terms of personality, not just play style, they are the GOATs, okay? Because like I said, Ed is just, for me, I don't get the appeal of Ed. I really don't. But again, that doesn't mean he's a badly designed character, because I know a lot of people are very excited for Ed. So I'm happy for the people who are excited for Ed. I am reserving judgment on him for now. But yeah, this weekend was crazy for fighting games. A lot of crazy things happening over here. Like I said, Tekken World Tour, Street Fighter US, CPT Online East. A lot of great stuff going on. So again, if you guys have missed a lot of that stuff, dude, I have been trying to catch up on everything. I tried to watch the US East. I tried to watch the SFL US. I tried to watch. I'm still trying to watch the. Oh no, I finished the EU SFL Week 9. Dude, it's so hard to keep up with all of these tournaments and matches and stuff, but it's crazy. It's a wonderful time to be a fighting game fan. And you know what? Next week, 2 games are coming out. Under Night 2 is coming out literally one day before Tekken 8 next week. So 2 new games are coming out. Oh, that's right. And Ringe and Sajam just did an Arc Revo stream where they actually got to preview Under Night 2, and I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, so I'm gonna definitely try to watch that and get hyped for some Under Night 2. Hopefully I'll be able to get myself into Under Night again, because I really enjoyed Uniel. Kind of dropped off when Unist came out, and then the netcode made it so that I couldn't get into Uniclear at all. So now that it's a rollback netcode, hopefully I'll be able to get into Under Night 2. But I'm excited for this. Again, crazy time for being a fighting game fan. Capcom Cup coming just right around the corner. Very, very frightening. But it's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you definitely want to check out Capcom Cup coming up. Again, that's going to be starting on February 8th. It's the 16th, 17th, and 18th. I think it's the 17th and 18th. Or does it start on the 18th where the LCQ is going to be? It might just be starting on the Sunday, 18th and 19th, which is the LCQ. And then SFL, I think, is going to be like the 20th and the 21st. And then like 22, 23, 24, 25 is going to be the actual Capcom Cup tournament. It's going to be so fun. And again, first year for Street Fighter 6, someone is winning $1 million. It is going to be pretty crazy. Going to be pretty crazy. So, oh dang, you get the season pass for free with the regular version if you buy it before March 31st on Steam. That's cool, Gundam Judy Kai. That's in reference to Under Night 2. So again, Gundam Judy Kai says you get the season pass for free with the regular version if you buy it before March 31st. So if you are interested in Under Night and Birth, grab it before March 31st. You'll have the season pass for free right away. So yeah, I mean, shout outs to Fugu, by the way. Me and Jeremy were having a conversation talking about all the awesome things that you do in Japan, Fugu. So just wanted to let you know about that. But yeah, Japan had very few spots, but they wanted to be fair, right? They wanted to give all the regions about equal number of spots. And in the past, they were very, very favorable to Japan. And I know a lot of people are like, it's Japan, let them have it. I know they're trying to be fair, and also they want to, give some of those slots to other people as well, so that they can have more like South Africa and other regions that have previously been very underrepresented. And unfortunately, it meant that a few of those Japan slots had to go by the wayside. So, yeah. Is equal the same as fair, though? Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Dr. Cheesesteak. Honestly, it's a good question. I know Mike Lee has talked about this before, but Capcom Cup is a world event like the Olympics, and EVO is the best competitors. Yeah, you can definitely look at it that way, right? So you can only send so many people from all the different regions. Capcom Cup is about celebrating the different regions. EVO is, I need to be the best. And so everybody goes to that. So it's definitely a way to look at it. I mean, they can obviously change Capcom Cup a little bit in the future, maybe to try to make it a little bit both. But yeah, equality and equity aren't the same for sure. Yeah, again, it is a shame for Japan. But, again, I'm happy to see these other regions have a chance and to be able to represent. I think it's so important to be able to have that benefit and have the ability for these regions to really showcase what they're doing. And shout outs also, by the way, to Sherry Jennings. With her e-fight pass, she's managed to help get the visas for so many people. I think Namikaze and now Crossover, who was rejected in the past for Capcom Cup. He qualified for Capcom Cup during Street Fighter V, and he got rejected. His visa got rejected. He couldn't make it 1 year. Well, he finally got accepted this year, largely thanks to Sherry Jennings and the e-fight pass and all of her work doing that. So. She's doing a fantastic service for a lot of the foreign fighting game players to be able to get into the U.S. So, yeah, I actually dig the global representation equality, but it's an interesting debate. Absolutely, Dr. Cheesesteak. Again, I'm just talking about the positives of the global aspect of it, but I totally get the fact that I mean, God, I was supposed to take a picture of it and I forgot to. But on that sheet, I wrote down the name of every player that didn't make it to the top 16. And it was just the most ridiculous list. And to know that most of these players are not getting into Capcom Cup is crazy. Like, I really hope Tokido shows up. I really hope he he guns for it. And, you know, I kind of hope he qualifies, but at the same time, I want Punk to qualify. Like, one of them is not going to make it, or both of them are not going to make it. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Oh, you're right. Tokido is there for SFL Japan, so he's going to compete anyway, no matter what. So, yeah, I agree with Mike Lee. You know, I love that Capcom Cup is making it about regions and giving representation. It's a huge honor to see all the Jasmine. All right, I'm going to have to read on the screen over here. It's a huge honor to see all the regions and for those players to rep it. Yeah. It's a huge slap in the face to be like, oh, hey, African player, you don't deserve to be there. We should have 12 top JP players instead of South American player and you EU player. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I that's why I do like the representation, especially for regions like South Africa, which didn't get the South America, which has been hard for those players, even like Eastern Europe for like the Russian players and such. You know, it's really, really cool. Oh, shout outs to Best of V Show. Shout outs to Elon with a subscription. I appreciate that very, very much. Best of V Show is back, by the way. So if you guys want to have some more talk show, fighting game talk show craziness, Best of 5 Show is back, and Elon has a new co-host with Automatic. So I think that's a great choice for a co-host. So definitely want to check out their stuff as well. But yeah, so fighting games, it's going to be great times coming up soon. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. And fighting games, and it's not going to stop. Even after Capcom Cup, even after someone wins $1 million, the Ed trailer kind of is implying that Ed will probably come out right after Capcom Cup. But if that's the case, then maybe we'll see an Ed trailer there. But, you know, Tekken 8 is coming out next week. Uni 2 is coming out next week. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is out right now, and it is doing wonderful out there. It is getting a lot of support, and people are really happy with the game. The amount of joy and just like people playing that game sounds like it's been fantastic. So again, fighting games, we are in such a great position right now. Really, really hope you guys can find one of these games to your liking. And one of them should be KOF 15. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about that. For those of you on YouTube, look for this video potentially tomorrow. For those of you here on Twitch, I'll be talking about this right away. But obviously, a discussion has been, why aren't people playing KOF 15? And I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit as well. But all right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Again, sorry that this was a couple of days late. Again, I was kind of KO'd. I was kind of KO'd on Tuesday, so I couldn't do the stream. I got stuck at the pharmacy for too long, so I didn't even make it home on time anyway. But I hope you guys are happy that I was able to make a makeup day here on Thursday. So, in any case, thank you guys for tuning in. And don't forget that the day this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Thursday.